These leaves are so large and it only have a few okras on it. So a plant like this should be giving me more okras than what I'm getting from it now. So I'm gonna be Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Country Murray here. Today I'm going to be giving you guys 6 tips on how I care for my okras in my garden. As many of you know, okras are one of my favorite summer crop in the garden. And with growing okras comes a bit of responsibility. They're not a set it and forget it crop as many would say. Even though these crops, they are heat tolerant, they do need a bit of care in the garden. They're also a bit pest resistant, more pest resistant than many other plants in the garden. However, they can get knocked down with pests. So in this video, we're going to go through a few care and tips for your okra plants. So for me, I'm gardening in a small space, or what would be a small space for many. It's an average backyard, and I'm planting a lot of things in my backyard, not just okras. And I don't want these big or large okra leaves to be shading out other things in the garden, because these are in grow bags. Even though I have some over in my ingrown bed, these are in grow bags, and I don't want them to be shading out things like my beans, corns, and even my amaranth, which can do with a bit of shade at times, but I don't want them to be shading out most other things in the garden. And some of the okras, they're quite close. So we have one bag here, a next bag here. This is an okra plant right here, and this is a next okra plant right here. So what I normally do in these small spaces, I will come in and I'll prune back these okra plants. So when pruning your okra plants, you're going to have leaves some of the time from all the way down closer to the root section. You're going to want to remove all of these leaves below the fruit. So that's below where the okras are. You're going to want to remove all of these leaves. And when pruning, and next thing, don't just remove the leaf, remove that entire branch that is there. Even though you see I have baby okras on this one, I still went ahead and removed that branch, and I'll explain to you guys further in this video why I do that. I have to prune these okras to get better airflow within the garden. This is an okra plant right here, and I have a bell pepper plant right here. We need air to be flowing through this garden area so that we don't get a lot of pests and disease issues start to build up in the garden. So that is another reason, or that's the next reason for you to go ahead and prune back your okras in your garden. Okras have suckers, and when planted in small space or clustered, you're going to want to go ahead and remove these tiny suckers from your okra plants. If you only have a single okra plant or a few, you don't need to go ahead. But if you're growing in tight space like what I'm doing here, and you want to get the best out of what you're doing, you're going to want to remove these suckers from your okra plant. As I said before, if it's just a single or maybe 3 or 4 okra plants that you have in your garden, you can leave these suckers because they will produce more fruit for you in your garden. But for airflow and other reasons, I'm going to be removing these suckers from my plant. So yes, okras do have suckers just like tomatoes. These leaves are so large and it only have a few okras on it. So a plant like this should be giving me more okras than what I'm getting from it now. So I'm going to be removing the leaves. So what that will do, the plant will start focusing now more on fruit production than these big leaves. Look at these leaves, and I don't eat okra leaves. So I want to send these plants into fruit production mode, not leaf mode. So I'm removing all these larger leaves from the plant and a few of the suckers also. So this plant has a sucker down here, and I'm going to be removing it also. So get rid of these suckers and I'm good to go now. So I only have one fruit here, but there's a cluster of fruits right here on this plant. So I'm going to be leaving this now and see how it operates for the next couple of days. And the beauty with okras, every 3 to 4 days you can come in and harvest okra. Most of the time if your okras are performing the way they should. Keeping less leaves on your okra plants will help with keeping away aphids and stink bugs, which otherwise known as throat bugs. A lot of people may disagree with this, but if you have ever had any experience growing okras and seeing those little lumps on your okras, those are caused by stink bugs, or what they call throat bug. I don't have any okras right now with those lumps on it, but if you ever should be going through your okra patch or your garden and you find any okras with those little lumps on it, those are caused by stink bugs, not the aphids. The aphids, they normally goes under the leaves, and those are easy to get rid of. A little bit of soapy water, because they're soft-bodied insect, a little bit of soapy water will get rid of those. But for your stink bugs, those will start to penetrate the okras and cause them to be lumpy and hard, and even getting them barky before time. So it's like a rush between you and them. And next thing that can take out your okras, and that's going to be root knot nematodes. So even in this bag that we have here, we have a bell pepper plant, and it's looking quite droopy. Now it's about 8:30 in the morning. This plant should be looking way more happier than this, and by maybe about 11, this okra is way droopier than all other okras in the garden. So I don't want to go ahead and uproot this as yet. I'm going to keep on watering, but I know that maybe it's a sign of root knot nematode taking over this bag right here. Root knot nematode will take out your okras, and one of the best ways to go against it, to fight against root knot nematode and your okras, is to do succession planting. So what I've done here, I have these okras which are a couple of weeks, and I have some coming up in the bed which are like maybe about a week old, little bit over a week. Those okras are coming up. So I've done succession planting. So whenever I see these plants start looking stressed and start dying back, I'll just get rid of them out of the garden. Other than using any form of chemical, I don't know of many ways to get rid of root knot nematode from off the plant just like that. I know that you can go ahead and plant mustard. If you're in like a place like where I'm in Central Florida, you could go ahead and plant mustard throughout your fall and spring season, or your fall and winter through spring, and that will help to keep away the nematodes from out of your soil. Other than that, I'm not really sure of any other way. You guys can share with me down in the comment section of ways that you know. I know that they also said that ashes can be used. I've tried it before, but I'm not sure if I can say anything on the result of it, because I didn't see any change in my garden at that time when I used ashes. A lot of people make the mistake and think that okras are drought resistant, but okras are not drought resistant. They are heat tolerant crop. They are from the continent of Africa, and they belong to the mallow family. So they are in the same category with your sorrel. That is what we call roselle, or that is what you guys call roselle. We call it sorrel in Jamaica. They are also in the same category as cotton. So they are plants that produces pods, and we eat the pods of the okra. For the roselle, we eat the outer part of the pod, so that's the fleshy part that comes out around that pod. We'll eat that. And for the cotton, you know, you harvest the cotton. For most plants in the mallow family, you don't want the seeds to get too mature, because that's when the plants will start dying back. These plants, all they care about is to reproduce, or to produce, and have those seeds reproducing more plants, more suckers, whenever they fall or get dispersed by whether it be wind, bird, some form of animal. That's how these plants operate. So that is the reason why most of the time you have to harvest your okras off the plant. If you should have an okra plant and you just allow those okras to bear on the plant will just reach to its maximum bearing capacity For that reason, it is not being harvested, and then the plant will just die back. It will send a signal to the plant and the plant just start dying back. Those pods get dried, those seeds are mature in it, they'll fall and start growing again. For eating purpose, harvesting purpose, for us gardeners, we're going to want to harvest our okras maybe about 3 to 4 days after you see them form as a fruit properly, or as a food. I'm not sure if it's a fruit, but whenever you see that okra form, maybe about 3 to 4 days after, you're going to want to harvest it. From bloom, it takes about 4 to 5 days again for you to get an okra from that plant, or even sooner, because some people harvest the okras when they are very tiny. But I'm just telling you guys, if you should leave your okras on the plant and have them there, you will not get maximum production. And not everyone appreciates a small okra. So if you're looking for a larger okra, you have varieties like the cowhorn variety, which is going to give you a large okra. I have one over there, but I don't have a large okra on it right now. I can find a picture of maybe about 2 Sundays ago when I harvested okras from that plant, but they're very long. And those okras, they don't get barky as fast as the Clemson spineless, I think it's called. Those are like the most popular okras around, the crimson spineless. So most people that are planting okras, most gardeners, they'll be planting something like the crimson spineless. But they're still a good okras, you just have to know how to time them. But for a larger one, I can definitely tell you that the cowhorn variety is going to be your best choice. If you're in a small space and you still want to go ahead and plant okra, you have the green finger variety, which you can plant. It's like a dwarf variety. They don't get much tall, maybe about 12 inches, 12 to 16 inches, and they just bush out and give you a lot of okra. Those you can go in and prune them, but pruning is not really recommended for a dwarf type okra. It is not going to be growing very large to block out things in your garden. But just remember that one, it's the green finger variety. You can look it up and those will do well. So let me just go ahead now and start harvesting a few of these okras. And most of these that I'm getting now, today is what? Today is Tuesday. By Thursday or Friday, I'm going to have to be coming out here again and harvesting more okras from these plants. But I'll be preparing some amaranth today, and I'm going to be putting some okras in my amaranth. I'm going to go over now on the next side. Don't want this video to be too long. I'm going to go over on the next side to get some okras, but these are the okras that I've gotten so far. And you guys see I have some tomatoes. We're in June now and I'm still getting tomatoes from the garden. And I'm not talking about cherry type tomato, I'm talking about large enough tomatoes from the garden. So the garden is holding up a bit after all this drought that we're going through. It's still holding up. So that's going to be it from Country Morrow. God bless you all. See you in the next one. Happy gardening and cheers.